name is Legina, and I was infected when I was 25 years old.
My name is John. I was infected when I was 24 years old.
My name is Natalie. I was affected when I was 18 years old.
My name is Warren, and I was 29 years old when I was affected with the AIDS virus.
My name is Samantha, and I was affected at first.
My cousin died of AIDS about 6 months ago. I have a friend with AIDS, and I see him living with it day by day.
To live with HIV, I think, would be very devastating.
Just one sexual relationship can mess up your entire life.
The 3 years that I worked in Hollywood, I guest starred on 25 primetime shows and 5 feature films and about 100 music videos.
I wanted to be an astronaut.
I always wanted someone with me.
I wanted to have a friend. I wanted to have a male friend.
I would get married and have 2 children, 1 boy and 1 girl. And that's what I planned to do.
You know, I wanted to be loved by someone.
I had like a million goals I wanted to accomplish. You know, I wanted to do so much.
I was just longing for relationship.
I was actually a beauty queen. This was a long time ago. And he was a race car driver.
Before I was married, I did, you know, drugs like cocaine and stuff like that, but even while I was married.
I don't know if I ever heard the word queer the first time, but began wondering if that's what I was.
I was kind of a good girl.
Met someone, found out he was gay, he invited me over. That kind of led me into the gay lifestyle.
He was flashy, he was cocky, he was sexy.
I'm not saying that was the reason why my wife and I split up. It was basically because of a conflict entrance, and you know, we just could not communicate.
Went into my first gay bar at 17, and from there began a very destructive lifestyle.
After about 6 years of knowing him and him for a while, he asked me to marry him, and I wasn't ready, so I said no.
Samantha's mom was married before.
Once we did split up, I think, you know, it probably took me a couple, once you get over the hurt and the pain, and then once you realize it's not going to get back, you're not going to get back together.
I was told he was a drug user.
I was drinking and doing drugs and being very promiscuous, sleeping around, had a couple of venereal diseases.
I was coming in contact with a lot of nice-looking, very clean-cut, you know, educated, you know, healthy-looking women, which I thought was healthy at the time also.
And he asked a second time, and I still wasn't ready, so I said no. But on his third proposal, I felt like I was ready to take that step.
In about 1983, I met a gentleman, and in 1984, we had a backyard ceremony. Committed our lives to each other. I thought, okay, that's going to make me happy. That's what I really want.
I got out again, so I was still using drugs and going to parties and picking up ladies and that forth.
It was a very, very romantic proposal.
While we were together in that relationship of about 8 years, we brought people home into the relationship.
I was just fulfilling my sexual needs or my needs of my flesh at that time when I was working. And just, you know, if I go to a club and I pick up someone, and then, you know, if that person is willing and I'm willing, you know, for that particular one night, then it's fine, but there was no obligation there.
I wanted to please him, and so I saw that giving myself to him physically was like a gift. It was to consummate our engagement.
I wanted affection, thinking that if I was sexual with this person, maybe I would have some type of affection.
Right after the proposal and right after we made love, he immediately scared me with his response. He became very angry, verbally abusive, and he withdrew from me emotionally.
I told him we needed to not ever do that again, and it happened, and, you know, lots of people wish they could go back and change an instant in their life, but it shouldn't have happened, and it did, and so we know exactly where the situation occurred.
He was supposed to come visit me out in California, where I was living at the time, and spend Thanksgiving with me. And we talked the day before Thanksgiving. And he never showed up, and he never called.
I don't know who infected me. And I can't say that I can look at one individual that I had sex with that looked like they had the virus. and say that, okay, that person is the one.
I got a phone call from a sports agent who knew that Tim and I were involved, and he called me and said, "What is going on? I heard Tim is in the hospital dying from AIDS."
Oof. I found out very oddly. We applied for life insurance, thinking nothing. I was at work, and I had a phone call from my partner saying our insurance policies came back saying non-insurable. And I, for some reason, I just knew. And I said to him, I said, we must be HIV positive.
I received a letter from the medical facility which I took the exam at. And the letter read, "You have a potentially serious condition of a personal nature." Now, with the lifestyle I was leading after my marriage, I'm not stupid or naive or dumb. I knew I was taking a big risk.
I went to my gynecologist and I said, "Please test me for AIDS." And he said, "Oh, women don't get AIDS, and you're the last person to get AIDS. That's a waste of your time and money." And I said, "Well, please, just for my peace of mind, can I have a test?" And my test came back negative.
Man, I sure enough screwed up this time.
He was sick for probably 2 years.
And then she met JR, our son, and they had no idea by our first husband. And when Sam was born, they found out that that they were infected, both of them. It was a shock to the family.
I got AIDS by my mother.
They called me on Monday. A friend of mine was going to go see him and called and said she was going by, and she came upstairs and said, "By the way, Gary died an hour ago."
Oh, God. That hurt so bad. And I kept saying, "You're lying, you're a liar." Yeah, no, I don't. Because she said yes.
No one knew to tell me then to get a second test, but the rumors continued about Tim, and so I went to get a second test. And this time, my gynecologist called me, and he was weeping on the telephone, and he said, "Regina, are you sitting down?" And as soon as I knew that I had AIDS. And from that moment, my life completely changed. All of my hopes and dreams were dashed, were crushed.
If I had AIDS, I'd probably be really, really depressed.
It would be very traumatic for me.
Well, I would probably think about committing suicide. I'd want to die quickly.
When it hurts so bad is when the first couple months after, you run, emotionally, physically, keep your minds going. You go to work, you go to school, you do anything just to keep your mind from thinking it. And when it finally hits you, you said, "Oh, God, I'm not going to do what I'm supposed to. I'm not going to do what I was supposed to do. Am I going to finish school? Is anyone going to ever love me?"
I can remember thinking, I can't believe I'm not going to live to be 30 years old.
My mom died when I was 3, and my dad died when I was 7.
I felt dirty, contaminated, poisonous.
I can remember driving in my car thinking, I have this time bomb. I used to imagine this time bomb, and when was it going to explode?
What I feel is sad, and sometimes I just want to cry.
I was so ashamed of myself, and I developed a real hatred for myself.
When I told my mother, because I thought she was the second to the closest person I can talk to. And she told me, "I don't love you no more because I can't believe you did this." And she was disappointed.
It was devastating. It still is. And, you know, usually the kids bury their parents, not the other way around.
Sometimes I get mad because I want to be like the other kids, but I always can't be like other kids.
I would have these horrible thoughts of just wanting to kill myself.
Being alone with this disease, it makes you feel like you're nobody anymore.
You got to deal with a lot of issues. As you know, it's bad enough to be dealing with other problems with your health, then you got to deal with people around you also. Some people just don't care to be around you.
I feel like people didn't see Natalie. People didn't see me. They saw the disease. They called me as, well, you know, the girl with the HIV, the girl who's dealing with this. They didn't see me. I wanted them to see Natalie. I wanted them to see me.
It hurts. It definitely hurts. You know, it just crushes your whole entire month, not your day, your month.
How would I respond? I think I would respond in a calm way, you know, dealing with my past and stuff like that, and knowing that there's a lot of treatment out there for me, and I can probably be cured. Not cured, but, you know, where I can live a long time.
I get really angry when in the media, AIDS is being called a manageable illness. Excuse me, do you call constant diarrhea, wearing diapers, throwing up, catheters in your arm, almost dying, having a brain swell, having all these different diseases manageable? In whose eyes? They're not living with AIDS.
I take 12 pills a day.
I take about 26 medicines per day.
Almost my whole day revolves around surviving.
The meds make me feel sick.
I hate it.
This is a protease inhibitor. I have to take 8 of these a day. I can't take my protease inhibitors within 2 hours of taking my Ativan to make me go to sleep. And I take a stomach acid reducer because the protease inhibitors upset my stomach, and certain drugs keep me absorbed because of that. So it is a very frustrating to be a prisoner to this disease.
I wasn't getting a lot of nutrition, so I got this tube called a button, and it's in my stomach, and I get fed every night.
There are also some other really uncomfortable side effects from the protease inhibitors. And, you know, besides the life-threatening ones to my heart, because I'm now at risk for heart disease because of the side effects from the protease inhibitors, there is the nausea and vomiting, the almost uncontrollable diarrhea, and a lot of the time I have to wear diapers.
The mother instinct in us, I would rather go through it myself than to see her suffer. It's just hard. I can't describe it. I mean, this is a loved one that you care about and you want to just do for, and you're helpless.
I have to wake up and take this fiber drink and then wait about an hour and a half when my stomach's already bloated and full from this fiber, eat my breakfast. But before I do that, I have to give myself insulin shot. And then after breakfast, I have to take, you know, some of my 35 pills a day. And then I begin to feel nauseous, so I usually have to just sit quietly or lay down, or I throw them up, and then I start the whole process over again. But this cocktail of drugs doesn't work for everybody. It only works for 50 to 75% of the people that even try it. And then it has so many bad side effects that a lot of people have to abandon taking it.
And past May, I was in a hospital for a month.
Her immune system is so taxed that whatever blows on her just takes over her body.